Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortean Slip. This is episode 122, The Return of the Red Eye. Joining me, you fucking wouldn't get that reference if it smacked you in the head like a big black dick. Joining me, as always, is a man I wish would play fucking Pokemon Go on a busy highway, Steve Alcorn.
I deleted Pokemon Go.
Good. You're not.
I was using all my data.
You're not fucking 12.
You don't have to be 12. It's a fun game.
Is it?
Yeah, until you get your bill.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I was at a party a couple of weeks ago, or a week ago, or something like that, and two grown adults left the party to go down the road to catch a fucking Pokemon.
Well, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that's exactly what that game is. Ridiculous.
I'm going to tell you the real reason I deleted Pokemon Go. I'm too damn lazy to walk around the corner and go catch a fucking Pokemon. That's it. If they didn't come to me, then I didn't try to find them.
Yeah.
Depends on the Pokemon.
No, it don't.
It does. If you leave a party and you're leaving it for like Zapdos or Mew or Voltron, something high up there.
I just don't get it. I don't get it.
I was just catching Weedles and Eevees and what was the other one?
And
the
fucking
bird.
and fucking herpes.
I didn't catch a herpes, but
Sorry, that one got me.
Well, anyway, Pokemon gone. That's all I know.
Yeah, I never
data.
I never downloaded Pokemon Go, so I don't have to fucking deal with that shit. This week on the program, we are going to talk about legendary lost cities, and of course, the biggest or most prevalent one of the bunch would be Atlantis.
I've been there.
Bullshit.
I bet you have. No, I bet he has.
I have.
What, in a acid trip with your brother?
No, I don't do that sort of thing. Oh. It was late at night.
No, the ceramic frog led him there.
It was late at night.
He was searching for a Pokemon, and he actually fucking followed the Bimini Road.
Well, it wasn't the Bimini Road. It was actually a boardwalk. There was a bunch of casinos, and one had Trump on the side, and I lost all my money.
Oh, very funny. Very funny. Because Atlantic City sounds like Atlantis. That's what you say.
Oh. Well, I thought this...
Anywho.
I'm not supposed to try to be funny.
No, you shouldn't ever, because that's the caliber of joke you make.
So, Atlantis was first, I guess, introduced to the world, or at least as far as like the earliest historical record of it is from Plato. I don't know why we should put much stock in Plato, since we know for a fact that he liked to play with little boys.
So, that doesn't mean that he wasn't an intelligent person. There's a lot of highly intellectual people who are pedophiles.
Steve.
What? I'm not defending his pedophilia.
I'm going to stop you right there before you start defending pedophiles.
I'm defending his ability to be a
next week on the show, Steve will defend priests and how they're still holy.
So
stand by for the dissertation.
So what you're saying is because the guy might have been a pedophile, then he couldn't have had any intelligence whatsoever. That's where
I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I don't know that we should put much stock in his assertion that there was a place called Atlantis that no one's been able to find.
Well, some people think they found it.
But is there any concrete evidence that we've found Atlantis?
No.
Right.
No.
And according to Plato, the location of Atlantis was beyond the Pillars of Hercules, which isn't that between like fucking Spain and Africa? The whole Pillars of fucking Hercules thing. I don't know.
Well, beyond the Pillars of Hercules could mean anywhere.
Right. It could mean it could be out in the middle of the Atlantic fucking ocean for all we know. I personally don't know. There have been a multitude of quote unquote cities found underwater.
Sure.
I can't think of the names of any of them right off the top of my fucking head, because
we've researched real well for this
yeah, because I do tons of fucking research for this shit. I just pop up wiki and go,
Atlantis City. Yes, nice.
Atlantis City. You fucking asshole.
See, I made it work.
No, you didn't.
You didn't. You didn't at all. By any means or any fucking way, make that joke work.
Steve's like, no, Mordor was real.
I don't even know who Mordor is.
Oh,
exactly.
No.
Fucking exactly.
Is that from Harry Potter or something?
Yes.
I'm not buying that for 1 second.
Yes, Mordor was from fucking Harry Potter, you jackass. But I mean, I don't know. It could very well have been a real place. It may not have been. It was supposedly this highly advanced technological civilization. I think that stories like this are extremely interesting in the fact that I like the idea of an advanced civilization before ours. I like the idea. I like the idea that maybe something rose and fell, and then we rose again, or whatever. Maybe it was some other form of human life. We don't know.
Yeah, but how advanced were they? I mean, were they to our level of technology or beyond, or were they, kind of like, advanced as far as we were in the 1800s or something?
Well, there are people that believe that they had all this technology that was based on crystals, and that they, had flying machines and so on and so on. Some people believe it was fucking ancient aliens and that Atlantis was a fucking a spaceship. Because the city is a spaceship, Steve, it's gotta be ancient aliens.
I'm totally on board with the idea of Atlantis being a possibility. Not necessarily, is real, but possibly. I mean, not as far as a technologically advanced civilization. I can't even fucking speak.
No, you can't.
Well, I was going to take a nap before the show, and then, somebody PM'd me and said, wake up, or, with a Google Hangout link, and I kind of tried to finish my supper because I was eating and falling asleep and whatever. But anyway, so no, I'm on board with the idea that it possibly could be an Atlantis, but I don't think it would be anything more than, was normally there. At that level of technology at that time, when it allegedly disappeared.
And there have been cities that were spoke about in legend and myth that were found, such as Troy.
Right.
And for the longest time, people were like, "Yeah, Troy's bullshit," and then they fucking found the goddamn thing.
Well, there's cities all the time they're discovering that, they may have known about it one time, or maybe it was an ancient reference to a city that doesn't exist anymore, or a biblical city, or, or something like that, and they, eventually archaeology may catch up to some of these places, and they do find them on occasion. In fact, I think there was one just recently that they uncovered. So,
well,
Mayan city or something.
No, actually, the one that kid supposedly found.
Well, that's one of them. Yeah.
No, that was all bullshit.
Was it all bullshit?
Yeah, they found out that was bullshit.
Dude.
Yeah, no. Buzzkill.
I'm bored with that kid.
Buzzkill. You lose.
So did he hoax the whole thing?
Spoiler alert. No, I think he seriously thought he had found something, but it wasn't anything. According to the news stories that I read like a week later after we did the show, where we read that news story about that kid,
right?
It was debunked.
Well, maybe it's just a government cover-up of something because they don't want us to find that particular city.
Could be. I don't know.
I
think so.
Viking settlements in Canada.
Well, we always knew the Vikings got here long before Columbus anyway.
They had to.
But now it's been confirmed.
Yeah. Another interesting city of legend, right up your alley there, Richard, is Arthurian Camelot.
Oh, yes. Camelot.
Yeah, which I don't know where exactly that would be on that little island you live on. But, which you guys, I'm pretty sure, have walked all the fuck over.
Is there anything left to be discovered there? I mean,
we discover new things all the time. Settlements and stuff are always popping up.
Idiocy in the people voting doesn't count, Richard.
Right.
Very funny.
Ha 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 ha.
Check out Chris, political satirist.
Yes.
Is there any evidence? Go ahead.
How is that whole Brexit thing going?
Basically, right, the government said, okay, you voted to leave, but we're not going to leave. And then we got a prime minister that no one voted for. So, yay, democracy.
So it didn't mean shit.
It's just like they were.
Did the prime minister pull a sword out of a stone?
I wish something had happened. I would have given her a right to be in charge, but no.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to get into politics. Fuck it.
No, neither do I. I just wanted to fucking beat up the Brits.
We had the Brexit vote. Cameron lost. He got all pissy. He resigned, and instead of having another general election, which we should have done, they were just like, "Nah, we're going to put this bitch in charge."
They were like, "Whoever this glass slipper fits on, we're going to make them fucking prime minister."
Again, that would have been fine by me if there had been some kind of system in place. From what I can see, this woman just lost a bet or something.
Some old bitch was running around going, bippity boppity boo.
Yeah, she'll do. Give her the seat. Democracy, woo.
So what you're saying is your political system over there is just as fucked as ours.
More so, Steve, because at least you're going to vote for Hillary or Trump.
No, I'm not.
Well,
you can't make me either.
Steve's gonna sit home and bitch about his shoulder that day.
I'm gonna bitch about everything other than going to vote because I am not doing it.
Wait, you're not going to vote?
Fuck no.
In America?
I'm not going to vote in Canada either. It makes me something other than a stupid, dumbass citizen who wants to vote for either one of those morons.
Would it be fair to call you an enemy of America, Steve?
It would be fair to call me whatever you want to call me, but I'm not an enemy of anything except voting right now. But come on, Richard. Now, if you lived here, could you, in good conscience, vote for either one of those candidates?
You could always vote
for Trump.
You could always vote for Gary Johnson.
I don't even know who that is.
See, you're not even paying attention to the fucking situation.
No, not anymore. I'm not.
There is a third-party candidate, and he will be on the ballot in all 50 states.
Oh, good. I'm sure he has a hell of a chance.
He's not mythological or legendary. He does exist.
Vote for me. I'm not Hillary or Trump. Yeah, that's a good campaign structure.
That's as good as any. We're fucked. That's all I know.
Hashtag hate, not H or T.
Well, fuck the political system. Moving on.
Back on topic.
Yeah, the lost cities of gold, which I think are some pretty interesting shit. You get all these conquistadors that come over here. They hear all these legends about these cities just filled with gold. They lose their shit. Start just killing the fucking natives. They're like, where's the fucking gold? Give me the fucking gold.
We already gave you all that gold. Give us more.
And of course you have El Dorado, which I did a little bit of research on this today. There was a tribe, and they, I guess, went out into the middle of this fucking lake Guadavita. And the king or tribal chief or whatever the fuck he was, his name was actually El Dorado. So the name of the city wasn't necessary. I don't fucking get this whole thing. Like, the name of the fucking tribal chief was El Dorado. They threw gold in the fucking lake to appease some fucking god. And then the Spanish conquistadors were like trying to get to the bottom of the lake to steal all the fucking gold. And everybody's been searching for this shit for ages.
Don't they still find some gold in a lake in that area and believe it's that one or something? I don't know. I heard it recently.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't fucking know. I know that on I know that on one of the episodes of Ancient Aliens, I can't remember the name of the priest or whatever he was that supposedly like intermingled with some natives. He wound up with a bunch of these artifacts and some gold shit, some gold like plates, not plates that you eat on, like, you know, like pressed plates or whatever. And they wanted to try and find this place that they were getting these artifacts from, but they never really could. And supposedly all of those artifacts disappeared after he was gone. I can't remember the name of the guy.
I'm guessing that all these lost cities of gold probably would have been discovered by now if they actually existed. And if they have been discovered, then we'll never know about it. Because, you know, the government or somebody will swoop in and want all that cash. I know that's how they do it over there, Richard, don't they? You got to pay a fee or something, or sell half of it or something like that.
Yeah, the government takes a massive cut out of any gold you find, because there was a gold prospector up in Scotland that discovered a small mine, and they ended up with barely more than they started with.
But if you find any buried treasure or not buried treasure, but if you come across, let's say, a Spanish galleon that sunk off the coast, or maybe some hidden Roman gold or something, they're gonna take a good portion of that.
Straight into a museum. Yeah, you don't get anything.
You don't get that shit over there. Now over here, the rules are a little different, but
yeah, Indiana Jones shows up, takes it from you, and says, "This belongs in a museum."
That's exactly what happens, only he does it with a British accent.
Right.
No, I read a story recently about, I think it was a farmer over in England, and he dug up a bunch of coins or some shit, and they took most of it. He didn't get much of it at all. And I'm like, oh, fuck. So that's how it works over there. So I'm guessing if you were to find one of these lost cities of gold, you probably wouldn't want to tell anybody, first of all. I'd be melting that shit down, selling it off little by little or something.
Like I was telling Richard before the show, this El Dorado is supposedly in Colombia, and I'm firmly convinced that the gold that they were talking about is cocaine.
It could be.
Because, it makes people fucking crazy and want more.
1,000 tweakers just listened to this show and went, A city of cocaine? Where is it?
How the fuck do we get there? There would be more interest in that than a city of gold.
We just started a new legend.
Just
we have to come up with some fake map and shit.
Thousands of cokeheads fucking running into the jungle.
Hitting up tribes undiscovered by man for just 20 quid till the weekend. They'll make you feel good.
But when I think of these lost cities, especially in like the jungles down in South America or even in Mexico, you look at like the Congo, for instance. I know when they tried to put to get I want to say civilization, but it's settlements into the Congo, they couldn't fucking keep anything there because this jungle just swallows everything. And I mean, unless they go through and just clear cut the fucking shit out of everything and completely kind of terraform the land, the jungle is just going to swallow it back up because that's what the jungle does. So I can easily see like a city down in those areas disappearing. And a lot of these, scientists and archaeologists say it's amazing that a lot of these cities that were down in South America actually were able to flourish because they were built in jungles. And how they don't really understand how the people were able to, keep it going.
I don't know, the ancient peoples had a lot more intellect than we give them credit for, I think.
Well, and that's why I go back to that whole idea of advanced civilization before civilization.
Well, I don't know how advanced they had to be, but they knew what they were up against.
They had a fucking biodome, Steve.
There you go.
They had Pauly Shore and fucking Stephen Baldwin.
If you live in a jungle, you know your environment, you can probably survive in that sort of situation and keep the jungle at bay. They would have had slaves and shit they'd have made them fucking cut it all down and shit, to keep the city open. But
I don't know. I just find it real easy to believe that the jungle could swallow up that shit.
Oh, I'm sure there's a lot of cities down there, and in fact, I know there are cities down there that haven't been discovered officially yet because of the jungle. I mean, it's so hard to find anything there.
Yeah, now they're just down there clear cutting the shit out of everything, pissing all the environmentalists off.
Well, hell, we have lost civilizations right in the States. I mean, I live pretty much in a lost civilization. They don't know anything about the culture of people who lived here before, the white settlers and the Indians. So they were the Mound Builder Society. I mean, so I don't know. You got any of that up your way, Chris? Any Mound Builder stuff?
I don't know. Although it reminds me of that Serpent Mound, which is not far from you, which you should go to, by the way. I'm
going to eventually.
You should record from the Serpent Mound. It might take you a little bit of that data. It might take you a little bit of that data that you were talking about. That might cost you a little bit of money to record from that area because I don't think there's any Wi-Fi.
Oh, I bet there is. I mean, because it's a big tourist attraction now. I bet you could hook up to their Wi-Fi at the visitor center or some bullshit. But we have the mounds right here. I mean, I can go a mile and find one. So it's like, and nobody knows really. I mean, there's no real history on how they were built and shit like that. So I mean, we have lost civilizations right under our nose sometimes, and how they built these things and what they were for, you don't know. So were they advanced? Well, at least as far as moving dirt, they sure were.
Well, I love how people always go, especially with like the Serpent Mound. Well, this had to be created to be seen from the air because it's the only way you can see it, and there's no way that they could have created it without being able to see it from the air. Bullshit. Because you can fucking lay something out as it should be and then build it.
Simple mathematics and engineering is all that is. I mean, it's not like you have to I mean, you build an airport, and that's obviously seen from the sky, but you're not building it from that perspective. You're building it on paper first, you know.
Right.
So you have all the mathematical equations and shit worked out. And if we know anything about a lot of these old lost or ancient civilizations, they were fucking great mathematicians and star people. You know, they knew about stars and all that shit. So that's how they lived.
Well, yeah, the Mayans understood how all the astrological events, and of course, the Mayan calendar kept track of everything in the sky, and their understanding of that is beyond comprehension. Like, how they understood all of that, we still don't understand that today.
Well, a lot of things their calendar was just an amazing thing, you know, and it was very accurate. And it took us centuries to get to that point. If we're even there now, I don't know. But of course, it's ended, and we all didn't die. But,
right. We made it. We made it past the end of the world, according to the Mayan calendar.
The end. Beginning of the end, Chris. Well, look at the situation in the world today. I think maybe they were right. We were at the beginning of the end.
Could be. Could be.
Well, no, as far as that serpent mound being seen from the sky, most of the mounds that were built are just mounds. They're not in any pattern. Well, most of them are in a straight line, or there's some patterning to them, but they weren't meant to be seen from the sky. They were ceremonial for the most part, as far as we can tell. You know, so it wasn't like they were trying to attract their space brothers or gods, or maybe some of them were for that. But
the ant people.
Yeah, the ant people. So they were building mounds for the ant people. Most of them are empty. You know, most of them didn't have anything in them, so they were probably for ceremonial purposes.
No, that was where the ant people lived. They fucking, dug shit out.
But there's no holes.
And they came out and they left pheromone trails.
I was watching a group of ants one day.
Well, wait a minute. If they're fucking from forever ago, why would there be any holes? Because somebody kicked the hole over.
Well, some giant person kicked a big giant ant hill mound over.
Yeah, sure. Trapped all the ant people inside.
Giant people.
Well, there were giant people allegedly inside some of the mounds, which were probably obviously burial mounds. I mean, they say, and I've got books from back in the day that say it. Of course, a lot of it was probably hype and not real, but skeletons 8 foot tall or shit like that. So maybe some of them were bigger. I don't know. There's no real proof of it, though.
I don't pretend to know what the fuck's going on. I have questions. I have questions about this shit.
I just want Atlantis to be real.
It would be very interesting if they could find Atlantis or find.
Well, maybe we already have.
It's very possible.
That have been sunken.
There's that thing that's off the coast of one of the Japanese islands, and I can't think of the name of it right now. But there are people who say, "Oh no, that's just a natural formation." But if you look at that thing, it's very obviously man-made or made by some type of
sure as hell appears to be
conscious being. It does not look natural to me at all. That's like saying the fucking pyramids were a natural phenomenon.
The Bimini Road, I think, is probably a natural phenomenon. I don't see anything there that convinces me that that's man-made. It looks impressive, and it could be man-made, but it has never convinced me. But the one that you're talking about in Japan there, or off the coast, that one's quite impressive.
I can't think of the name of it right now. Graham Hancock talks about it a lot. But the other city that they've actually found that I think is extremely interesting, and that it set back the timeline of history of civilization of man by thousands of years, was Göbekli Tepe.
Right.
And they're still unearthing this fucking thing. They find this, I think it was a farmer was out in his fucking field. He finds this friggin', rock formation or something, starts digging it up, and it's actually like a pillar with animals on it. And at Göbekli Tepe, there's all of these concentric circles, and there's all these pillars, and they all have all kinds of animals on them, and depictions of beings, and there's depictions of animals that aren't even indigenous to the area, which is far more fascinating than the fact that they found it.
Well, I think that our ancestors were far more well-traveled than, previously believed. That there's a lot of evidence of that. There's a lot of evidence that the Chinese came to America before even the Vikings on the West Coast, So it's a possibility.
Well, I love like obviously I've said it many times on this show that I love watching Ancient Aliens. I don't know that I buy into the bullshit that they present all the time, but I love the show. And one of the things that they talk about on Ancient Aliens a lot is, why did all of these cultures all over the world build the same style of buildings everywhere? They all built these pyramid structures, and they're everywhere. They're in Mexico. They were in, South America. They were in Egypt. They're in India, so on and so forth. They're just all over the place.
Maybe it's just a basic human thing. Maybe it doesn't have to mean they were connected in any way. Just the style of that particular building, that type of... I dropped my pen. That particular style, maybe it's just makes sense, It
could be. It could very well be. But it is an interesting fact that they all did that. And it does lend a little credence to the fact that maybe some of these civilizations were far more well-traveled than we think they were.
They had to have been. I mean, because you find things even here that shouldn't be here, And I don't know how that is in other parts of the world, but, I mean, they found Egyptian beads and things here, and they shouldn't have been here. And the arrowheads kind of prove... I forget which type of arrowhead it was, but they found it here, and they found it in England, and they found it all over the place. And it was that certain type of arrowhead made exactly the same way, and it shouldn't have been here, and it shouldn't have been there, but it's here, and it's there. You know what I mean?
Right. And if you look at these shows like Life After Man or whatever it is, Life After People, that bullshit, and how long or how short of a time it takes for the Earth to just swallow up civilization. Like, literally, in less than 100 years, a lot of things will be gone. A lot of these, like, bridges that we have, they have to be constantly maintained, or else they start to rust, they start to crumble, they start to fall, and they're just gone in a matter of no time.
A lot of these civilizations we're talking about are several thousand years past,
Right, and the only thing that's left of them is stone.
And sometimes not even that. I mean, like in the desert, Egypt, it gets covered by sand, and you may never find it.
Right.
So.
Well, and Göbekli Tepe, they believe that Göbekli Tepe was intentionally buried. For whatever reason, it was intentionally buried. I don't know, to hide it from someone, to hide, to save it. I don't know, and I don't think anybody else knows the answer to that question either, as to why they buried it. But according to the scholars, that it was intentionally buried.
Now, when you say the scholars, you're talking, not ancient alien scholars. You're talking real academic.
Yeah, it was. They believe it was intentionally buried, not that it was. Not that it just got, swallowed up by Earth. It was intentionally buried. And why? I don't fucking know. If anybody else has the answer to that, but fucking spit it out.
Maybe they intended on coming back and rebuilding their society, after they left, for whatever reason it was that they had to leave. And so, as kind of a time capsule, maybe.
Yeah, I honestly don't know. And then you've got some of these underground civilizations. These places that they found that were all, tunneled out, and they have like these amazing acoustics where you can sit in one room and speak and be heard in almost every other room.
Now, that would be cool. I want to find something like that.
And that they had, air ventilation shafts and all this other shit, and there's legends of, I know the Native Americans have some legends about how, going back to the ant people, that, or the star people or whatever, that these people took them underground to save them, and then they reemerged later on. So there's a lot of these legends, these, myths, that there's some basis in fact to this shit. Now, what it really was, are we ever going to know? Probably not. We can sit and speculate all goddamn day, and the Ancient Aliens guys can fucking, it's Ancient Aliens. We don't fucking know, and neither do they.
No, of course they don't.
Giorgio Tsoukalos can put as much gel and hairspray in his fucking hair as he wants. He's not going to have the real answer.
Well, come on, they know they don't know the real truth, and that's why they can speculate whatever they want.
Right.
Now,
like I said, do I think it's fucking entertaining and do I love it? Abso-fucking-lutely. It's great. And the idea of ancient aliens fascinating? It sure as hell is. Would that be a cool thing? I don't know if it'd be a fucking cool thing, but it'd definitely be pretty fucking awesome. If
they helped us out all those years ago, how the fuck come they're not doing it now? And now I know people will say they are, but there's no proof.
And then there's some people that think that we are the aliens. That we wound up here, and then and that's
possible.
And that's possible too. Maybe we fucking got stranded here, and maybe at one time we had more technology, and then civilization fell, and then things went into disarray. And we wound up going back to tribal lifestyles, or these.
No, we differ from the rest of the great apes by quite a bit. I mean, we wear clothes. We're hairless. Obviously, we have a different kind of communication system. Our eating habits, all that kind of. We prefer our food cooked and not raw and shit like that. So maybe we are, something other than that. Maybe we're derived from that, but who knows?
Yeah, I like I said, I think it's very fascinating to think about, and I like the idea of civilization, what I like to call civilization before civilization.
No, I know evolution has a part to play in a lot of that, but why the fuck did we lose our hair? That one particular thing has not made that much sense to me, because, like in the wintertime in a cold climate, and some humans live in cold climates, wouldn't you want to have a hairy body instead of wearing fucking clothes? Back in the day, I'm not talking now, of course.
Right. Yeah, now we got air conditioning and heating.
So that one's never made much sense to me as far as evolution goes. Now, I know evolution plays a part in a lot of things, but I don't know about losing our hair. Because that sets us apart from all other, animals for the most part. Not every animal, but you got a naked mole rat.
Well, I just saw a news story not that long ago saying that chimpanzees have hit the Stone Age. It was not that long ago. They're pretty. So
they think that chimpanzees are evolving.
They think that chimpanzees are now using stone tools, and that they've.
Well, they don't think it,
and that
they know it.
That they've entered the Stone Age. So
they'll use stones to break open clams and shit like that.
So we very well could be witnessing some form of evolution in that aspect, and we do do witness evolution all the time. It's just that it happens on such a small scale, and we're only around for a blink. That we're never going to see any large scale evolution.
I suppose once we created fire, the need for hair probably lessened.
No, we just burned it all off, Steve.
Well, only certain times of the year. only certain times of the year would you need the warmth that you would have needed all year round prior to that.
Gillette and fucking 70s porn ruined hair for everybody.
70s porn was horrible. Oh, man. Did I ever tell you about my porn collection, Chris?
Oh, yes, Steve. Yes, you have.
I still have it. I don't look at it or anything.
No. God, no. You wouldn't do that.
Vintage porn.
Yes.
Vintage porn collection. It was left to me by a nice old man who was, a pervert and stuff.
Could be worth something.
Some of it is. I'll tell you about it off the air. Well, might not quite be legal to even own, but to sell, of course.
Wow.
It's not kiddie porn.
Wow.
That just sounds like snuff films. It was just like snuff
No, they're
films.
not snuff films either. Well, I don't think they're considered snuff films, but...
Oh, Jesus.
And earlier in this show, you were defending pedophiles, and now we're at
I was
snuff films.
not defending pedophiles. I was defending Plato's intellectual abilities, regardless of the fact that he may have, which is probably not proven, been a pedophile.
Yeah, you're just like, yeah, whatever. Guy molested some kids, so what? Everyone's got a voice.
Back then, it wouldn't have probably been considered much of a crime. Now, it would be today, obviously.
Well, you go back a couple hundred years and you married off your daughter at age 13.
Right. So, unless he's going, all out on 2-year-olds or something, then that's pretty fucking disgusting. 13-year-olds are disgusting to me, too, as far as doing that, but that's our culture that we live in. Back in his culture, it may have been acceptable.
Yeah.
Okay, and which culture are you defending?
I'm not defending either.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm defending the guy's intellectual abilities, not his pedophilia.
Okay.
Who are you trying to convince, Steve?
judging.
Me and Richard or yourself? On that note, you got any fucking news, Steve?
Probably.
Good. Shut the fuck up!
There is a mute button, Richard.
Okay, I forgot to press it. I couldn't help it. I thought I started and I was like, I'm not going to hum it. But then we got halfway in and I was like, oh, this is too good. They won't notice.
Next time, well, not next time. Sometime down the road, randomly just change the news theme.
Yeah, I should.
Yeah.
Completely fuck
From
him up.
Ohio. Ooh, this one's from my home state, Ohio.com. Bigfoot stories get hairy at the library. An author and a filmmaker search for the truth about the monsters. Tom Pretty thought he was about to die. Oh, I love stories that start that way. It was 2013, and he and a buddy were fishing along a creek in Salt Fork State Park when they heard something coming toward them through all the tall grass and from the other side of the water. When it was right on the edge of the weeds, a head appeared. And it was like a human or a monkey. It was dark, but with long hair, and it was on all fours. Doug Waller, whom I've met, by the way, he's a pretty nice guy, of Southeastern Ohio Society of Bigfoot Investigation, told a crowd gathered at Akron's downtown library Saturday. The fishermen stared in silence as the creature stuck its face into the muddy Guernsey County Creek to drink and then stood upright on its hind legs, apparently not noticing the men across the creek, Waller said.
Uh-huh.
No funny comments, huh?
The Bigfoot belonged to the organization Finding Humans and was failed to notice its quarry sitting opposite it.
No, yeah, if Bigfoot had a show like that, it would probably end up the same way as our show about finding them.
Renee Bigfoot and Matt Bigfoot would always be arguing over whether or not it was a shaved Bigfoot or an actual person.
Would the Bigfoot believe in Dogman, though?
I don't know. The story that Mr. Waller was relaying sounds a little bit more like a Dogman than a Bigfoot, doesn't it? was down on all fours, putting its head in the water.
That does sound dogmanish.
Yeah, that's more dogmanish.
Let's ask Kelly Shaw. He knows his onions.
Kelly Shaw. No, I've noticed, Richard, every blog you've written in the past, 2 months, says that Kelly Shaw found Bigfoot evidence at a hoax site. Is that correct?
I'm never letting anyone forget that. I'm not going to let anyone ever forget that he went to a hoax site and said he found all this Bigfoot evidence.
I'm just wondering if that was the correct interpretation of what you're writing there. That's all.
That's what happened.
Okay.
That's what happened.
All right. I've spoken to him. I know. He said big floppy feet fooled him, and I'm sure that happens to most experts from time to time. So you can't fault him on that.
Yep.
Another monster hunter, Seth Breedlove of Norton, also screened his latest documentary, Beast of Whitehall, for the library audience. The slick production revisits the tiny upstate New York town of Whitehall, where in 1976, 11 people reported seeing the same red-eyed, hairy monster stalking the nearby fields and forest. Breedlove, a former columnist with the Massillon Independent, this sounds like a high-ranking newspaper there, became intrigued with monsters while reading old newspaper clippings. His first film was Minerva Monster, dedicated to the 7-foot stinky creature that reportedly roamed the intersection of Carroll, Columbia, and Stark counties in 1978. I want to see that movie. Sounds good.
Sure.
The Minerva Monster one. It's a stinky Bigfoot.
They all stink, don't they? Isn't that one of the...
No. The skunk ape stinks from Florida. Always.
I thought they all stunk.
No, not all Bigfoot stink. Not every witness. Most witnesses don't even report a smell.
No. Every day's a school day.
Well, here, you watch too much of that stupid Finding Bigfoot TV show where they claim that, well,
everyone knows skunk apes get their smell from hiding in gator tunnels.
Right. We got a clip of a ghost. It says there was a CCTV footage. Oh, this is from the mirror.co.uk, by the way.
The most dependable news source on the planet. Daily Mirror.
It is.
It is not at all racist or tabloidy.
No. Anyway, this spirit woman, it was a spirit woman, followed a man into a taxi. When the passenger slams the taxi door shut after getting into the vehicle, it appears to go straight through the mystery woman. The chilling video that appears to show this ghost following a man into the back of the taxi has left the internet freaked out. I don't know. I wasn't freaked, but the black and white... Oh, man, the spaghetti's coming back up on me. Whew. The black and white CCTV footage shows a passenger waiting for a taxi at night in a near-deserted area. But when he walks towards the vehicle, the back door suddenly bursts open and a ghostly figure appears out of nowhere. The man seems oblivious to the spiritual presence with long black hair standing just inches behind him. He slams the taxi door shut and it appears to go straight through the mystery woman. The creepy clip has racked up tens of thousands of views on YouTube. Other taxi drivers around the world have reported spooky happenings in the back of their cabs, namely one from Florida by the name of Tim. I'm making that up. Can you imagine what kind of spooky things goes on in the back of Tim Pisano's cab?
I don't want to imagine what kind of spooky things.
Sit the fuck in that one.
I don't know. Tim Pisano respects the hell out of me, so I shouldn't be picking on him or anything. He says
no, you shouldn't. He said that you were the man with the most integrity. You should apologize for trying to besmirch his name.
Is it integrity to apologize?
Based on that comment, I wish you were next to him in that fucking famous photo of him.
No, I don't want to be anywhere near him in that famous photo of him. Because I know exactly what photo you're speaking of.
We all do.
Yeah. Yes. Oh, man. Anyway, so
just
in the
Tim
end,
rubbing your shoulders gently.
The ghost vanished from the taxi. That was it. So not
that there's anything wrong with it.
What I want to know is why nobody saw the ghost. I mean, they kind of didn't see the ghost, but they saw the ghost, but they didn't see the ghost.
Steve, you're an absolute novice. Everyone knows that despite working on exactly the same principles as the human eye, cameras and shit can pick up things not seen by the human eye.
Oh, even though it works on the same principles as the human eye.
Even though it is pretty much exactly the same as a human eye, it can pick up stuff that the human eye can't.
Did the camera have like night vision on it? Because that's different than mine. I don't have night vision.
Steve, you're confusing the issue.
I shouldn't be confusing you. You said it works on the same principle as the human eye, and if my eye doesn't have night vision and my camera does, it would pick up things that I can't see.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Listen, the only issue that's confusing here is Steve's sexuality. Continue.
No, there's no confusion there. From theinquisitor.com, another high-ranking news source. Alien UFOs. Yes, alien. I think that's from the UK too, isn't it? I don't know. Alien UFOs.
So no.
Oh, okay. Well, it still could be from the. I can register at .co.uk if I want to.
You better not. Better not pretend to be from my.
I think you should register as a fucking sex offender.
Why should I? There's no record of me doing anything to anybody.
He wasn't defending pedophiles, Chris. He was defending the integrity.
Oh.
No, the intellect of one. The integrity, no.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, those priests are good, honest people.
You know, Dean Cooper, I kind of agree with you right now, and my PayPal is slicktoys@yahoo.com if you want to send me that gas money.
It's not the pedophiles, Chris. It's the sexy kids that seduce them that's a real problem.
Oh, yeah. I forgot.
Alien UFOs take off from and land at alien bases beneath the White House regularly. Some guy named Alan claims.
Regular?
But they are not
regularly.
Yes. But they are not detected by civilian and or military surveillance radar because they are advanced hyperdimensional spacecraft that are able to enter and exit restricted airspace over Washington, D.C. through hyperdimensional portals at very high speeds. The UFOs, according to this guy named Alan, they don't give his first name or last name, as the case may be.
Alan Waterman.
There you go. Are able to travel over vast distance of space. They are able to enter restricted airspace in Washington, D.C. undetected because of dimensional shifts, and they use a self-generated Stargate system. The UFO hunter claims hyperdimensional... Yeah, it's boring. Hyperdimensional craft entered Washington, D.C. airspace about 1 mile southeast of the White House on July 20th, 2010, and fired a directed energy beam over the White House. He has photographs, he says, of the extraterrestrial craft coming into land and at an extraterrestrial base under or around the White House underneath the Potomac River. This was not the first time that UFOs flown by the alleged advanced hyperdimensional alien race entered Washington, D.C. airspace undetected, according to Allen. Intrusions of restricted Washington, D.C. airspace and flights over the U.S. Capitol and by the White House by hyperdimensional alien spacecraft occurred on July 16th, 1952 and July 16th, 2002. I see a pattern.
You know, someone actually sat down and wrote that.
Yes, somebody actually sat down and wrote that. Some guy named Alan.
And believed it.
Well, I think the ones in 1952 he's referring to are the famous ones where you can see that they were actually photographed, but I don't think they were hyperdimensional. Most people believe they were just reflections. What do they call that? No, my mind is left. Reflections
a long time ago,
basically, minutes ago,
in Atlantis.
Yes, Alan, who is a resident of D.C., claims that his first contact with aliens was at the tender age of 5, when about 5 gray aliens in silver spacesuits visited him and implanted a special electronic device in his body. He did not realize that aliens had implanted this device in his body until he was older, and the device began directing him to photograph hyperdimensional crafts violating U.S. airspace through self-generated hyperdimensional stargates. Allen reported his sightings to Capitol Police, but while the authorities ignored his warnings, a few officers admitted privately, and I might add anonymously, that they had witnessed UFO incursions and landings according to the truth denied.
Oh, wow. The grey aliens were interviewed and said they thought it would be good for a laugh.
Allen has accused President Barack Obama of lying to the public about government contact with technology-advanced alien races, even as alien UFOs conduct regular flights over the Capitol buildings and land at that base underneath the White House, where, of course, Obama lives. So, that is that story. So Barack Obama knows that there are aliens in hyperdimensional, time-shifting, space portal.
That fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Someone needs to talk to him. Someone needs to be like, oi, Obama, tell us about these hyperdimensional beings, you cunt. We don't care about your healthcare plan or the military or anything like that. We want to know about the hyperdimensional beings.
I always find it hilarious when somebody, and it happens every presidential campaign to every presidential candidate, that somebody finds it the most appropriate question at the time to ask them about, have you met with aliens or do UFOs exist? Because that's the most important thing we should know.
It bloody is. And then the rest of it's going to be lies anyway, so you might as well ask those questions.
They'll give some sort of vague answer just basically to brush the person off, and then they make this big thing on the internet about how they're either hiding the truth, number one, or admitting it in a, secretive kind of way. But that's how those
What a dick.
What a dick. Obama's a dick, I agree. Oh, that is the news.
You know who wouldn't support pedophilia? Mick West.
Wait.
Nobody supports pedophilia, including and especially myself. I try to defend a guy's intellect.
Can I end the fucking show, you jackass?
No, I've been accused of being a pedophile defender.
No one accused you of being a pedophile. We said you were defending a pedophile.
No, I've been accused of being a pedophile defender.
Oh, okay. You guys done?
Well, yeah, we did do that.
This has been episode 122 of the Fortean Slip. If you like this shit, hit the little thumbs up button. If you don't, hit the little thumbs down button. Leave a comment, subscribe. Make sure to bitch, and a lot. I enjoy it. Check out Dred Funn at dredfunn.com and at youtube.com/dredfunn. Check out Matt Knapp at youtube.com/bigfootcrossroads. He's now a Bigfoot expert. You can check out Richard's blog. The link is below the YouTube video. And if you'd like to send Steve some money, just don't. See ya!